Hi, my name is Paul DiPerna, and I'm with EdChoice. I've been an AAPOR member now for about 10 years. It's really good to be with all of you virtually, and I'm looking forward to our online conference over the next 2 days. At the beginning of this year, EdChoice and Morning Consult launched a new monthly tracking poll focused on K-12 education issues and schooling topics. In mid-March, we began including a handful of questions to learn how the coronavirus pandemic may be affecting public opinion on education questions. I'll show you some of the things we've learned over the past few months.
And here is what we call our survey profile, which we include for all of our surveys and polling work at EdChoice. For our purposes here, I'm highlighting the dates in March, April, and May when we fielded our tracking poll with the new COVID pandemic questions. And this is all being administered via non-probability sampling in online mode. For any given month, we are surveying approximately 2,200 general population respondents, and within that total sample, a little over 500 parents of K-12 school-age children. So just a few weeks ago, we started asking a question about how respondents felt their institutions were responding to the coronavirus pandemic. And Americans appear to be more likely to give high grades to their local institutions in their responses to the pandemic, especially their local schools. As we can see at the top of the chart, about 2/3 are giving A or B to local schools. And then down at the bottom, we see roughly 2 out of 5 respondents giving A's or B's to the federal government's response and to the national multinational corporations. Since March, we've been asking respondents how disruptive the coronavirus has been to each of the following. Here we see the percentages of those saying very disruptive to either their personal routine, their family household routine, or to their local community. So far, it's pretty clear that April has been the most disruptive month. At that time, majority said the pandemic was very disruptive to their communities. We can see by the darker blue shaded cells that majorities were saying in April the coronavirus pandemic had been very disruptive to their communities. And since April, we see these numbers have gone down by 8 to 10 percentage points. Over the last few months, we've also been asking school parents how prepared they felt facilitating online instruction, also known as e-learning, distance learning, or e-days. And being a father of 2 young girls in 2nd and 4th grade, this was surprising to me and to my wife. The solid majorities of school parents have said they felt at least somewhat prepared to facilitate online learning for their children. And so we see these 2 darker blue trend lines showing the somewhat prepared responses and the very prepared responses. And so they fluctuated anywhere from 3 out of 10 to a little more than a third saying either of those responses. And so in this most recent wave, 71% said they felt at least somewhat prepared for facilitating online learning. We're also asking parents how concerned they are about various aspects of the coronavirus pandemic and how that may be affecting schooling of their children. And parents have had a wide range of concerns about COVID, but as of May, appear to be most worried about missed instruction time, about 80% saying they were at least somewhat concerned, or exposure for their children at school, where it's about 3/4 saying at least somewhat concerned. And on either of those responses, at least half of parents are saying that they're very worried and concerned about their child missing instruction time and their child being exposed to coronavirus at school. And these numbers could have some significant implications for the future in the fall when we're considering how we reopen schools. And so with families and parents becoming homeschoolers to some degree over the last few months, we felt it was important to ask how their opinions towards homeschooling may have changed as a result of the coronavirus pandemic. And we can see that since March, the positive sentiment has been fairly stable, at least half saying that they're much or somewhat more favorable towards homeschooling. But we've seen since March that there is acceleration of negative sentiment going up 12 points since March, 17%, 29% in May. Sentiment appears to be fairly stable and the negative sentiment appears to be accelerating a little bit. And then we've asked, based on what they've seen, read, or heard about the coronavirus pandemic and outbreak, how comfortable would school parents feel about returning their children to school this fall? And right now, school parents' responses vary widely and pretty evenly across responses about their comfort levels for returning children to school, about a quarter giving each type of response. And we see a little bit of differences, especially between our urban responses. About 53% they said they were at least somewhat comfortable, and a little less than half, 49% of small town rural parents saying they were at least somewhat comfortable. And here we have links to different resources. We've been collecting polls and surveys with questions on COVID and education. You can access those at this box.com URL. And with that, wish everybody here to have a great AAPOR experience. It's really been a privilege. Thanks.